Yeah, thanks, Kai. I'm joined now by Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. Hikaru, first time in the sofa. I wish we could chat after a win. I know that was a bit of a strange game. You played Mr. A4, Rook A3 himself. I don't want to ask you too many questions about the game we just spoke. You sort of said you weren't too happy with your play, but yeah, what a situation we're in. What are these, by the way? Are they
They're
chinos?
I don't know. It's a fun fact that basically, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's the same pants that I wore in the candidates in 2022 in Madrid. I think after it was 3 or 4 rounds, they basically warned both Fabiano and myself, telling us that like we're wearing jeans or something, and we have to wear dress pants. So I went to I forget what the store was in Madrid. I bought this pair of pants and I wore it the rest of the tournament. So
Wow.
I mean, I assume they're okay.
So these are the new ones. Those are not the ones that, or these are the ones that you were warned
These
about.
are ones that I wore then.
Oh, I see.
Because like I said, Fabio and I were both told that our pants were unacceptable during that event. I don't know if people know that, but
No, I don't know. I do just want to get your general opinion about what sort of transpired. On the one hand, and I've sort of said it's relatively easy to have somebody grab you a pair of pants and throw them on, and I do think like both sides do have some fault in this situation. Let's say. But you got a situation like Jan Nepomniachtchi went and changed his sweater, right? So you sort of have this precedent. But it seems like if the situation was let Magnus play 2 more games in the pants that he was wearing and come back today, it's probably a better win for everybody on the chess world than what we have now.
yeah, I mean definitely. But I would say what I said even yesterday, that at the end of the day, it's not really about the jeans or the attire. It's about a much bigger situation that's brewing regarding freestyle chess. So it's not something. I think it would have happened one way or another. It's just simply something was going to explode. And from my standpoint, it's. I mean, even if it's very disappointing for the fans, I think it's better to just get it out there right now. Everything explodes right away, and you don't have this kind of simmering tension that continues onwards into the future. I think it's better that everything's just out there.
Can I just ask though, is it? And it's strange to me. Like I would love to host a roundtable. Maybe that's good content in the future. But it does seem like I get Emil here. He sort of says his thing. Magnus says his thing. You say your thing. And so I'm left thinking like, is it really just about the naming rights? Is it, or is it more so that freestyle actually has, I don't know, some bigger long-term plan than just being basically, let's say, Fisher Random, but it's obviously like it's kind of fresher, more modernized, etc., rebranded. Is it really just about the naming rights, or is it much bigger than that?
No, I mean I think it's definitely much bigger than that. I think that without. Well, let's be very clear. I think that when you look at FIDE, the vast majority of the funding they get comes from revolves around the candidates, the World Championship, and the World Rapid and Blitz. If you look at the World Championship, I believe something north of $9 million was required to hold the event. For this event, I think it's something like $7 million. So, when I think about sponsorship for these type of events, you're talking about very, very large amounts of money. And I think that without Magnus Carlsen playing, he is, of course, the best player in the world, that it's going to be very difficult for FIDE to get sponsors who want to put up this kind of money. So I think that it's actually a very real and very clear threat to FIDE. I think that if the players choose to play in other events, they will struggle to get the sponsorship that they currently have. So I don't think it's solely about the naming rights. I also think that the other thing is that when you look at the current generation of the older players, I mean, a lot of us have been around for a long time. We've played, you go back like 6-8 years, everybody was wearing jeans. Like actually, like a good example is my opponent today, Brandon Jacobson. He was wearing sneakers. I'm pretty sure that's not allowed.
Should have reported that like when the position got dicey.
Right, but I mean, but it's another example. I mean, there are many players who have been wearing basically sneakers outside of the pants, but it's very, very selective, and I think that it's very disappointing to see that. But as I was saying, when you go back 6-8 years, you see these videos of Magnus playing, or Grishchuk, myself, all of us, like people are wearing like a jacket or a nice shirt, and they're wearing regular jeans, and there were no issues then. So I don't really understand what this kind of is appealing to in terms of having this dress code, other than perhaps the smoke and mirrors of trying to portray chess in a certain way, which, as I said yesterday, I think it's very outdated. I think that when you look at the modern world, I'll use an example. I recently went to some basketball games, and when you see celebrities, at like courtside at a Lakers game or at a Miami Heat game, because I went to 2 games recently. I mean, they're wearing like sweatpants, they're wearing boots, they're wearing like fancy sunglasses or hat, and I mean, that is the world we live in. It's a very different world than 30, 40 years ago. Even frankly, if you look at Wall Street, many of the trades that go on today, it's all electronic. You still have people on the floor, of course, but it's a very different world, and so I just think it's a little bit antiquated, and ultimately, I think that people want to watch chess. They want to watch the best players in the world. I mean, short of Magnus wearing flip-flops and like a Speedo or something, I don't think anybody's going to care. They just want to watch chess. So to me, it's kind of illogical. I think there's a very simple way to have basically business casual and go from there. So I don't really get it, but it's what it is for now, at least.
Clothing aside, how did we get to this point? Like, there are some big stars in chess, then there's always been Magnus, but how are we at a point where a pair of jeans is going to cause an insane butterfly effect in the chess world to potentially split like it did in the 90s? I mean, it can't just be about blazers and so on, right? Like, what could have pushed Magnus here?
Well, I mean, the comical answer is people like you and me. So that's the sort of the comical answer. I think that if you compare the world now to the world, say, 30 years ago, very specifically, I'll use Garry Kasparov as an example. Media is very different now. You have a very big presence on YouTube. I'm pretty well known in the streaming world. I mean, we're both obviously very well known. And so you have a lot of people who are doing things and reaching an audience that was never being reached before. And I think because of that, the dynamics are very, very different now. And for example, you look at today, there was I think Victor Wembanyama. He was out at Washington Square Park playing chess. I mean, I know Luka obviously plays. Many other basketball, football players, etc., celebrities are big fans of the game. And so chess is definitely reaching a bigger audience than I think it ever has in history. Maybe when Bobby Fischer played briefly, there was the same level of interest, but overall, it's reaching a much broader audience than ever before. And so I think from that standpoint, that the dynamics have changed, where the players have a little bit more say, they have more influence, more reach, and all those things have combined, I think, to lead here, where you have Jan-Henrik Buettner with the freestyle chess group, and who wants to put money in it, try to make a commercial venture out of it. And I think, that can only be a good thing, but ultimately it's because, the dynamics of the world and social media have changed a lot.
That's a great answer, and I really think the only follow-up is what could have been done differently to avoid where we are now between creators, FIDE, top players, investors, and do you think that we can still reach some sort of peace agreement, find a way to work together so that all these positives are sort of combined into one, and the chess world can sort of be happy we don't have to have situations like this?
Well, I think the simple answer to that would be that you need something like the top 20 players in the world to effectively form a union and take FIDE head on these issues. I do think that if you had the top 20 players in the world basically saying we want business casual for this event, something like jeans, but say a dress shirt and dress shoes, for example, I don't think FIDE would be able to go against that. But the problem is, and this also gets back to the whole situation, is that it's very easy in practice to say, like, Magnus should have complained before the tournament, or the players as a whole should complain before the tournament. It's very easy to say that, but there is no group. So it's not like you can just get everyone together and they can all complain at the same time. So I think, what really needs to happen, at least as far as these FIDE events go, are you need the top 20 players to form basically a loose union. It doesn't have to be anything financial or otherwise, but a loose union where they take on the issue as a collective whole, versus it being one player complains, another player complains, and everyone's off doing their own thing scattershot. I think united, it's a much better situation. The players can definitely push for these things. Because I think generally business casual is fine, but the whole like no jeans or no sneakers or these things, like, to me it's illogical. And I also think the sponsors, that I highly doubt that they care whatsoever about that either.
I agree, for what it's worth. I've sort of made this public. I think less than 1% of people watching the event actually care about what's on your legs. Let's put it this way. But look, I want to also allow you to get some rest. We chat a lot.
I can chat for another 5 minutes. I just lost this game, so the tournament's over.
We can talk about let's say Murzian, who's winning the tournament.
Yeah,
who is he and how is he so strong?
Yeah, I mean, first, I would say that I'm happy that he's winning because, I mean, yesterday's game against him, I never should have lost that game in a million years. So, like, if you're going to lose a game, you want to lose to someone who's going to go on to potentially win the event. I think Merzen, oddly enough, of course, I'm very familiar with him. He's played a lot of these World Rapid and Blitz championships. I would say he's literally, in my opinion, the only Russian junior who is showing signs of greatness. I don't think they have anybody else in the pipeline who is even close. So it's great to see him shining here and having a good result. I think he's tied for the lead with Sasha, who's one of the longtime top players. So it's great to see. I think also the fact that he's played so many of these events has given him great experience over the years. And, I think the future is very bright for him. But again, playing tournaments, similar situation, say Lazovic, for example, another player where because of what's going on in the world, I don't think he has the opportunities that perhaps he should have.
Are you more excited for the Blitz now? Are you the favorite in the Blitz now?
I mean, I don't know what to make of the Blitz. I mean, I think, for me, the reason I'm actually a little bit disappointed right now is because usually when I play the Rapid, on day one, I bomb very early, and it's just like I'm basically wasting the next 2 days not being competitive. And in this event, up until a couple of moves yesterday, I was very much in contention to win the event. And then, I mean, today just was a horrible game, many oversights and everything else, perhaps a little bit affected by all the nonsense going on. So a little bit disappointed because usually it's over before this point. So the Rapid is a little bit but I think for Blitz, you just want to play good chess. I think that if I play good moves, good things will happen, but it remains to be seen.
Amazing. Hikaru, I'll let you go. I really appreciate you stopping by. Well, now you have three free games to meme around maybe, and in the rest of the event, if you said that it's over, in your words.
Well, I mean, obviously I can win the 3 games, but it's not going to change anything. Because even if I win 3 games, that's probably like maybe top 5 or something. But it's what it is.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you around for the Blitz. Thanks so much for stopping by, sharing your thoughts. Back to you guys.